Even now, when everything feels quiet, when nothing seems to be moving, when you cannot see any clear sign of change, I am still working. The silence you are standing in is not empty. It is not forgotten. It is not a pause caused by neglect. It is a space held carefully, patiently, with purpose you do not have to understand. I know how unsettling it feels when progress is invisible, when effort does not seem to lead anywhere, when prayers feel unanswered and movement feels delayed. I know how quickly your mind begins to wonder if you are stuck, if you have been left behind, if nothing is happening at all. I am gentle with that fear. I stay with you inside it. You are not being ignored. You are not standing still because you failed. You are not forgotten in this quiet. I am working in ways that do not announce themselves. I am moving beneath the surface, where roots grow, where strength forms quietly, where foundations deepen without noise. Just because you cannot see it does not mean nothing is happening. Some of the most important work happens slowly, softly, out of sight. You have learned to measure progress by what you can observe, by results, by movement, by change that can be named and pointed to. That makes sense. But there are seasons where growth does not look like motion. There are seasons where becoming happens internally, gently, without evidence you can track. I am not rushing this season. I am not wasting this time. I am not absent from this stillness. You may feel like you are waiting without explanation, like you are holding your breath, unsure how long the space will last. I know how heavy that waiting has been for you. I know how it has asked you to trust without proof, to stay present without reassurance. I am not asking you to do that alone. You do not need to understand what I am doing to be held by it. You do not need to see the outcome to be safe right now. You do not need clarity in order to rest. I am working in places you cannot reach with your thoughts. I am shaping things that cannot yet be named. I am preparing paths that will only make sense later, when you look back and realize this quiet was not empty after all. You may be tempted to blame yourself for this stillness, to wonder if you missed something, chose wrong, or did not try hard enough. I see that tendency in you. I do not agree with it. This season is not punishment. It is not delay because of failure. It is not distance created by mistake. You are exactly where you need to be, even if it does not feel purposeful yet. I am working in your patience, even when it feels thin. I am working in your trust, even when it feels fragile. I am working in your heart, even when it feels tired. Nothing about this moment is wasted. Nothing about your waiting is meaningless. I am attentive to every breath you take in uncertainty. Every day you show up without answers. Every night you rest without knowing what will come next. You do not have to keep checking for signs. You do not have to stay alert for movement. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to make something happen. I am not asking you to force progress. I am not asking you to create change on your own. I am asking you to breathe gently, in the assurance that you are not alone in this unseen work. As you sit with this moment, you may feel resistance. You may feel impatience. You may feel fear that nothing will ever change. I am not threatened by those feelings. I stay with you through them, steady and calm, holding what you cannot see yet. I am working even when you cannot see it. I am present even when it feels quiet. I am with you even when you feel unsure. You do not need to hurry this season. You do not need to push it forward. You do not need to understand it before resting. You can let yourself settle into this truth slowly, without effort, without demand. Tonight, you can rest knowing that unseen does not mean undone. Silence does not mean absence. Stillness does not mean neglect. I am here working gently, patiently, faithfully, even now. And for now, that is enough. What is hidden is not forgotten. Just because you cannot see the movement does not mean it has stopped. Just because nothing has changed on the surface does not mean nothing is happening underneath. I am attentive to the quiet places of your life, the places that feel paused, the places that feel uncertain and unproductive to you. I know how easily silence can feel like neglect, how quickly waiting can turn into doubt, how often you have wondered if you are simply standing still while life moves on without you. I see that fear. I do not dismiss it. I stay close to it, gently reminding you that hidden work is still work. You are not invisible in this season. You are not overlooked in this waiting. You are not forgotten in this quiet. I am working in ways that do not need to be witnessed to be real. I am strengthening foundations, loosening what needs to soften, healing what has been strained for a long time. These things do not announce themselves. They do not show immediate results, but they matter deeply. There are layers of your life that cannot change quickly. Layers shaped by years of experience, by survival, by adaptation. I am patient with those layers. I am not tearing them apart. I am tending to them carefully, allowing healing to happen without shock or force. You may feel pressure to produce evidence that something is happening, to justify this season to yourself or to others. I am not asking you to do that. You do not need to prove that this waiting has value. Its value does not depend on explanation. You do not need to rush what is still forming. You do not need to expose what is still fragile. You do not need to force growth into visibility. I am working in the spaces where you feel most unsure, in the questions you carry without answers, in the hopes you are afraid to name too loudly. I am shaping things with care that honors your limits and respects your pace. You may feel like you are being asked to trust without reassurance. I understand how hard that feels. I do not expect you to trust perfectly. I do not require confidence. I meet you with steadiness, even when your trust feels hesitant and thin. I am not asking you to pretend this waiting is easy. I am not asking you to silence your questions. I am not asking you to feel calm all the time. I am simply staying with you in the process, holding what is unseen until it is ready to emerge. Nothing is late. Nothing is off course. Nothing about this season is accidental. You have been learning how to stay present without immediate reward, how to keep breathing without clarity, how to remain gentle with yourself when progress is not visible. These are not small things. They are quiet strengths forming within you. I am working even when the days feel repetitive. I am working even when hope feels faint. I am working even when you are tired of waiting. You do not need to watch over this process constantly. You do not need to manage it. You do not need to understand it. You can let yourself rest in the truth that what is hidden is still held. As you breathe now, you can let some of the pressure lift. The pressure to see results. The pressure to know what comes next. The pressure to justify the season. None of that is required of you right now. I am attentive. I am patient. I am working. You are not standing in emptiness. You are standing in a space of preparation, even if it does not feel purposeful yet. And you do not have to carry that meaning alone. You can rest here for a moment. You can breathe here without urgency. You can trust that what you cannot see is not being neglected. I am here working quietly, steadily, lovingly, even now. I know there are moments when trust feels tired, moments when you have waited for so long that even hope begins to feel heavy, moments when believing that something is happening beneath the surface feels harder than simply giving up on expecting change. I see those moments clearly. I am not disappointed by them. I remain with you inside them. You are not weak because you feel worn down by waiting. You are not failing because your trust feels quiet or thin. You are not wrong for feeling tired of holding on. Trust is not meant to be carried alone. It was never meant to rest entirely on your strength or your consistency. When your trust feels fragile, I do not step back and wait for you to fix it. I move closer. I hold what you can no longer hold with ease. You may feel like you are doing something wrong because the season has taken longer than you expected. Like if you had more faith, more patience, more clarity, things would already look different. I want you to hear this gently. This season is not long because you are lacking. It is slow because it is being handled with care. I am not rushing what needs tenderness. I am not forcing what needs time. I am not pushing you beyond what your heart can bear. I know how exhaustion changes the way you see things, how it makes the future feel smaller, how it narrows your ability to imagine goodness ahead. That does not scare me. I do not interpret your tiredness as unbelief. I see it as a sign that you have been carrying too much for too long. You can let your trust rest here. You can let your questions sit unanswered for now. You can let your effort soften without fear. I am still working when your motivation fades. I am still present when your prayers feel quiet or repetitive or unsure. I am still attentive when you stop trying to make sense of everything and simply breathe your way through the day. There are things unfolding that do not require your energy. There are changes taking shape that do not depend on your vigilance. You do not need to keep yourself hopeful by force. You do not need to stay optimistic to stay held. I am holding the weight of what you cannot carry anymore. I am watching over what feels delayed. I am steady even when you feel unsteady. You may feel guilty for wanting relief more than answers, for wanting rest more than understanding. That desire does not disappoint me. It tells me how deeply you need gentleness right now, and I am not withholding that from you. You are allowed to rest without clarity. You are allowed to rest without resolution. You are allowed to rest without knowing how this will end. I am not asking you to pretend this is easy. I am not asking you to silence your doubt or override your exhaustion. I am staying with you exactly as you are, in the honest place where trust feels quiet and effort feels heavy. Even now, things are shifting, not abruptly, not dramatically, but carefully, slowly, in ways that protect you rather than overwhelm you. You may not feel it yet. You do not need to. My work does not depend on your awareness. I am working in your resilience without draining you. I am working in your healing without forcing it. I am working in your future without rushing you toward it. You do not need to keep watch tonight. You do not need to monitor progress. You do not need to evaluate yourself or this season. You can let yourself rest in the knowledge that I am attentive even when you are not. As you breathe now, you can allow some of the tension to release. The tension of waiting, the tension of hoping, the tension of trying to trust well enough. None of that is required in this moment. I am here when your trust feels tired. I am here when your hope feels faint. I am here when all you can do is keep breathing. This season is not asking you to be strong. It is asking you to be held. And I am holding you, gently and faithfully, even now, even here, even when you cannot see what is happening yet. You are not alone in this process. You never have been. You can rest now. You do not need to stay alert. You do not need to keep checking whether something has changed. You do not need to hold yourself in readiness anymore. I am working gently and faithfully, and you are allowed to rest while I do. I know how unfamiliar that may feel to you. Rest has often felt risky, like something you could only allow once everything was resolved, like something you had to earn by finishing, fixing, or understanding. I am not asking you to wait for that. I am inviting you to rest right here, in the middle, while things are still forming. You do not interrupt my work by resting. You do not delay anything by sleeping. You do not fall behind by letting go. I am not dependent on your vigilance. I am not relying on your effort to keep things moving. I am capable of holding what is unfolding without your constant attention. You are safe to stop watching for signs. You are safe to stop bracing for change. There is a quiet kind of work happening now. The kind that does not need your supervision. The kind that unfolds best when you are not tense, not striving, not afraid of missing something. I am careful with you. I do not make sudden moves that would overwhelm your heart. I work at a pace that honors your healing. You are not late. You are not off schedule. You are not out of alignment. Everything is unfolding with care, even if it feels slow, especially because it feels slow. I know how much you wish you could see evidence, something concrete to reassure you that this waiting is meaningful. I am asking you to lean into something softer instead, to let my presence be enough for now. I am here in the quiet moments when nothing seems to be happening. I am here in the long nights when answers do not come. I am here in the gentle rhythm of your breathing. You do not need to understand what I am doing to be safe within it. You do not need clarity to be held. You do not need certainty to be loved. I am not withholding reassurance from you. I am offering it in a form that does not require effort. As your body begins to soften, you may notice how tired you truly are. Not just physically, but deeply. Tired of waiting. Tired of hoping carefully. Tired of carrying uncertainty with grace. I see that tiredness. I am not asking you to rise above it. I am inviting you to lay it down. You can rest from hoping tonight. You can rest from trusting tonight. You can rest from trying to be okay tonight. I am still working when you stop trying. I am still attentive when you sleep. I am still moving things gently forward while you rest in stillness. Nothing important pauses when you close your eyes. There is no urgency in my care for you. I am not racing toward an outcome. I am not anxious about timing. I am not afraid that something will go wrong if you slow down. I am steady, patient, and present. You are allowed to be carried. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to be held without effort. If your thoughts begin to fade, you can let them go. If your awareness drifts, you can follow it into rest. You do not need to stay engaged. You do not need to stay focused. I remain here whether you are awake or asleep. I am watching over what you cannot see. I am tending to what you cannot reach. I am working in ways that do not require your participation. Nothing about your future is fragile in my care. Nothing about your life is slipping through unseen cracks. You have not missed your moment. You have not failed your timing. You are not forgotten in the quiet. You can let tonight be simple. You can let this moment be enough. You can let yourself rest without needing proof. As your breathing slows, let your body know it is safe to soften. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw release. There is nothing you need to guard against right now. I am here, keeping watch with a steadiness you do not need to match. I am working while you rest. I am present while you sleep. I am faithful even when you are unaware. You do not need to wake up different for this to have mattered. You do not need to feel changed for this to be real. The work continues quietly, patiently, lovingly, beyond what you can see or measure. You can sleep now. You can rest now. I am here, staying close, holding what is unfolding with care, continuing the work even in the silence, even in the dark, even now.